Today I got to talk to Tahir and Bobby from the Alchemists, and this is a project that was first on my radar about 2.5 months ago when they did an AMA. And I remember a couple things stood out to me about that AMA. The fact that they had such a robust team was interesting. The fact that this project actually started back in 2021 was of note. And that Tahir talked about a number of things back then that more and more people are talking about now. He talked about the dangers of CBDCs. He talked about things from a very geopolitical and macro perspective, which I really appreciated. So just told me that this team is probably in really, really good hands and is probably a very knowledgeable and experienced team. I also remember that they had a number of different revenue streams, a number of them, too many to count. So because of that, and because of all the different ways that they want their NFT or their token, you can call it a number of different things, I guess, to have as much utility as possible, they have a lot going on. So we are going to see a lot in this interview. It was 75 minutes long. That's a very long time for me, way too long. But there was just a lot to unpack with all the different revenue streams specifically. They did really surprise me with a couple things. So when it came to Forex trading, when it came to the real estate piece, I was pretty surprised by a couple things that they brought up. So look, guys, this is a long one, but there's a lot to unpack. There's a lot of goodness. And even if you're just kind of new to DeFi and not sure about it, this is a great, great AMA to watch because I think there was a lot to gather as far as not just entertainment, but just education about all the different ways that projects are getting smarter, brighter, and more optimal when it comes to how to bring utility to their ecosystem to make ecosystems last. We've seen a lot of projects die off in DeFi or basically almost go to zero. Their chart just looks like a slow rug, right? Which a lot of them are slow rugs. But these guys are really going out of their way to try to make sure that they last. So give it a watch and let me know what you think. And hopefully you enjoyed it and learned a bit. Tahir and Bobby, I think we are now recording. You never know with technology, but yeah, it was really nice talking to you guys a little bit before we started recording, getting to know you guys a little bit.
Appreciate you, Enrique. Thank you for having us, sir.
No, thank you for coming on. I'm actually really much looking forward to hearing more about you guys. I gotta be honest, your ecosystem has a lot. It could be a little intimidating for some, just looking at all the different NFTs and all the different pieces to it, all the revenue streams. There's a lot to cover. I try to keep these kind of AMAs at 30 minutes. I think it's gonna be pretty tough today because there's a lot to cover. And I think that we need to be as specific as possible with some of these details. But first and foremost, Tahir, Bobby, if you don't mind just introducing yourselves to us. Why did you start this project? Why are you into crypto? And and where are you from? All that kind of good stuff.
Yeah. Thanks, Enrique. Bobby, if you don't mind, I'll start.
Go ahead.
So I'm Tahir Smith, aka NFT Baller. I am the project lead. Firstly, I do apologize for the lighting. We are experiencing load shedding here. I've got to make a mention of that. Otherwise, it would have been more lit up around me. So I've got quite a bit of experience on my hands. I'm not the youngest kid on the block, even though in the in the crypto space and the Web3 they really make you feel old. They let you know you're old. I've also got to add to that our community is, from what we've seen, is a lot of experienced guys as well. They've got the years on them. So yeah, I've built multiple businesses, failed and successful. And being a businessman, seeing an opportunity in Web3 with the technology behind it, with the access to a global network, we decided, myself and the team, myself in the beginning, to seize the opportunity and to construct a team that has the necessary capabilities to execute the vision that we had. The reason that we built this project, Enrique, I've been in I would say the NFT space, right, for good, over a year. It's going on to 2 years, possibly, right? More on the JPEG side. I was never myself personally into the DeFi, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, when I came in, I was a bit naive because I saw these grand plans from these projects. And you know what? If they executed on their plans with the funds that they've raised, they would have been phenomenal, right? And I saw that. I thought, wow, this is like pre-IPO stages, getting into these. I viewed the NFTs, no matter the art, how pretty they look. I saw them and maybe we shouldn't say it. I saw it as a share, right, into what these guys and these teams are building, right? Lo and behold, that wasn't the case. We had, you know, I'm sure as many of your viewers have experienced the downsides of Web3 and the NFT space as a whole. Um, and that's when we said, you know, I told myself, let's put something tangible here. We've got the network, we've got the possibility of putting something that is real. And we can build it in Web3 because they are fantastic. Listen, I was in fantastic communities. The legs that those communities had on them, the potential that those teams had in the bull run, right? To build, and it was there. They didn't seize it. I reached out to a couple of projects that I was in a holder of and saying, listen, to the founders, guys, why don't we add this? I've got the gold, right? We've got access to gold networks, right? Let's build this revenue streams. You've got the community, you've got the funds, okay? Let's put something together that's real and tangible. Did they give me the time of day? Not really, right? It really showed the intentions there and then, but I don't want to spend too much time on that. And that's what led us and myself to construct this team and say, listen, let's put something together. Let us create this ecosystem of actual value, right? Attach it with NFTs because, listen, I love art. A lot of my team are art connoisseurs. They love us themselves. And let's attach value, actual value to these digital assets. Ultimately, that's how I viewed it when I was coming in, right? And I was obviously disappointed. So we built a product, I believe, right, that is something that I would want when I initially came into the NFT space, into the Web3 space, right? When I came, this is what I thought I was getting into, actual ecosystem that works for you, right? And the founding team, the ecosystem, we bear that responsibility. And a lot of the Web3 projects and teams, they didn't feel much of that responsibility. They were anonymous, and there's nothing wrong with being anonymous, right? But you know, you gotta have models, man. Even through an anonymous profile, there's a person behind that. There's a human being behind that, right? And that was missing. So that's why we don't mind. I would have preferred being anonymous. Web3, you know, the ethos, decentralization championing. I can talk like I want to. I can say what I want to, politically, geopolitically, the works. Right now, but we needed to create and give that sense of comfort because what we're building is grand, right? There's not a lot of projects, not a lot of teams that can offer, especially what we've got on the gold front. And people want to know, intelligent people, thinkers, they want to know, okay, right, you're saying this, but who's behind that? How do you have access to X, Y, and Z? And that's where the fully doxed, where we said, listen, we got to do this fully doxed, right? And we're putting all our chips on the table. Guys can go and see for themselves, do the necessary due diligence, and rock with us, build with us. I'm a decentralized maxi, right? Very tough to be a decentralized maxi in today's day and age because everything around us is against us, right? We see that everywhere we look. So a big part of Web3, besides the opportunities to make money, was the fact that, listen, we've got self custody, right? We've got control of our funds. There was a big thing by Punk 659. He always used to mention, not your keys, not your coins, right? That's massive. That's massive. And it brought nations together globally. It brought nations together. It brought the people together. And I genuinely I see that as a huge opportunity and a movement to create a sustainable Web3 that is not hindered by government policies. We can touch on all of that bull dust, right, of everything, of these gatekeepers that they're trying to put in place. But the shackles, the opportunity for us to shake those shackles Web3 gives us that. Even though they're tightening the nooses, right? They're attempting to do that. There will still be avenues for us to work in to ensure that those tokens that we hold is ours, right? You can't touch it. Okay. So in a nutshell, Enrique, I hope I've touched on the question.
Yeah, no, there's a lot to unpack, and I think my questions will kind of detail that out more, because you did give us a lot to unpack there, especially for the intro. But yeah, no, that was solid, and it tells us a lot about yourself. So thank you for that, Bobby. If you don't mind introducing yourself before we dive into all these things that we're starting to cover already.
Yeah, sure. I'll keep the intro a little bit shorter than that I hear. So my name is Bobby. I'm from the Netherlands. I actually met Tahir a year ago on Discord when I was working with another NFT service provider, if I can name it like that. So we got to chat with each other, and it seemed that I was a perfect fit for what they needed to build the project to what they wanted it to have, and so we started working together. In my free time, I'm a Forex trader besides my job. So I'm a software engineer as trade, and then next to that I do Forex trading. So that also fits very good in our project.
Very well.
Yeah, and I have a few questions about that as well, and we'll get to that. So thank you for that, Bobby. So I guess that would be a good time to kind of dive into the rest of the team, because I did notice that you guys have a huge team. And look, guys, about a year and a half ago when I first got into DeFi, I saw a huge team, and I thought, oh, that's great. They have so many people. They're going to do so many things. Now, after a year and a half, becoming a little cynical and seeing all these different things happen in DeFi, I see a big team, and the first thing I think of now is that there's more cost. Why is there so many people? Who's doing what? How are they adding value to the project, to the ecosystems, to the holders, to the investors? How is each key piece of this huge team adding value to it? So if I remember correctly, your team's pretty big. I know it's on the website, but it's pretty big. Yeah, you guys have a lot of people. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, for sure. Look, if we're building an ecosystem that's not small, firstly, right? So we need drivers and people responsible and carries the necessary experience to be at the head of those revenue streams, right? So
and guys, that's what Tahir looks like when there's light. So by the way, that's so.
And that's my Manchester United cap. I bleed red, gentlemen. So we it's people. I don't even see it as such a large team, because everybody does their function. They play a role, right? They're not leeches. Number one, they add value. So from the top there, right? There's obviously myself in the corner. We've got Yasin Majid and AJ Kumar, who I actually started the project with. They are the co-founders. Yasin is the creative guy, right? But he's got a skill in terms of the artistic side of him and the flair that you can come and see, right? And I might, a lot of the guys might not be interested in the art, but we like our digital assets that we're creating. And I'll say that word, a digital asset, because we'll touch on that a bit later, right? Pretty, why not? And Yasin's also he's a banker. He's a former banker. He's also been in the gold trade, in his time. So there's a lot of synergy there. We've got AJ, who's our 3D surreal artist. He's an artistic. That's his line, right?
Is he the reason why the website is so nice? Because I think I commented earlier when we were just talking, but I really like your website. It's a beautiful website.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. Thank you. Yeah, they look. It's been put together by the team, right? I can't take full credit for it. Yeah, I'm just the jockey. I'm just one of the jockeys, right?
Okay.
and we get things done. We've got Bobby Serin. I mean, his name and Sanjeev Bobby Serin. His name and his experience will speak for themselves. We've got Benita Gawaraki she is our gold lead. She's got a network that that's very respectable. She sits on boards of various mining firms that actually own and operate mines. Abdullah Khan, he's part of our Forex team and one of our master Forex traders. That's also a different revenue stream. We've got Shadow. Shadow is our Web3 analyst. So our Web3 analyst, he look at any projects that are coming in for collaboration, all right? We check it out very, very in detail, because we don't want to expose our ecosystem nor our holders to any potential rug pulls. However, if the potential is there to get in early, all right, he will point that out, that there is potential to get in early and get the hell out. But he takes care of that side for us, our Web3 analyst. We've got Al Qasim. He was the network. Like I mentioned in the beginning, I was totally new into DeFi, right? We didn't know where to start, where to get where's our market located, right? And Al Qasim was a gentleman that I came across. He's a head of another DeFi project, and he was kind enough to assist me in the networking side of things, right? To spread and show us the ropes in DeFi, who's who in the zoo, and who can we trust and what to look out for. Jonas.
Hopefully he also helped you with the fashion, because he seems to be a pretty fashionable guy from that picture.
Yeah, look, in terms of the fashion, South Africa, we've got our own type of drip, should I say.
Drip, yeah.
Yeah, Jonas is one of our head moderators. You've got Bobby, he deals with the technical things in Discord. You've got Bobby there, who's touched on, so Bobby, it's been a great fit and a blessing. Firstly, I've got to say that Bobby's experienced in the Forex field, right? He manages and assists all our Forex traders, okay, with the management of all the accounts that we've got going. It's quite administrative nightmare, right? But Bobby, for everything on there is well oiled. Bobby trades for us as well, which we'll touch on a bit later in terms of our profit strategy. All right. We've got Tim Yiko. He's one of our master Forex traders as well. And he takes care of a couple of our Forex accounts. And we've got Kevin, Mr. Gutted Dwarf, who is one of our head moderators. So all in all, everybody, they play a role. They serve. There's value that comes, and that's about it.
Okay. Thank you for that. That's really helpful. So yeah, I guess this would be the perfect segue to talk about the different revenue streams. There's a few. I think if you don't mind, if we could start with the Forex trading piece of it, because you already touched on that, and we have Bobby here. I was very curious about that piece. So I was curious, do you guys have certain sites and standards and protocols that you guys go by to ensure that things go a certain way when things aren't going the way you planned? How do you make sure that the folks that you have on your team that are taking care of the trading don't let emotions get in the way and try to meet certain monthly goals or whatever, and then kind of maybe size things differently? What are you guys doing in regards to that? And just tell us everything about this Forex. Are you specifically, I guess, trading gold or what else? And are you doing it via margin? Are you doing it not? Or is it all limit trades? Are you using bots? So many questions. So if you can just give us more details.
Yeah, so I'm going to let Bobby come in to talk about the technical side of things. Right now, I'm going to touch on just the outlying areas, because I'm no expert, right? I'm not a trader. I'm not a Forex trader. I don't know how to trade, right? And I'm proud to say so, because we've got a team that takes care of that. So in terms of our Forex setup, we utilize prop firm funds, right? So we spread our risks as well. So we don't have all our investments with one prop firm, okay? So we utilize those prop firm funds. In terms of the rules and regulations, or Bobby makes sure that he stands behind them. Well, he doesn't need to, because they're fairly well experienced. They know the rules. They know the daily drawdowns. They know the max losses per day. They've got very strict rules that they follow. Emotions. If I must introduce you, Enrique, let's not even go to Abdullah. Let's talk about TK for a second. If I must introduce you to TK, he is one of the most intelligent. He's a mathematical genius. Bobby has a lot of interaction with him daily. Bobby can tell you a little bit about TK, but no emotion. right? There's absolutely no emotion. We don't put pressure. So even though we've got the Forex revenue stream in there to generate, rewards to come in sooner into the ecosystem, right? We don't put pressure on them because we understand Forex goes like this, okay? It's not like this. And as a trader, and many traders here that are listening to this would understand, right? And you average out X amount of percentage over the year, right? We don't put any pressure. They trade when the trade presents itself. Okay.
Well, what percentage of the revenue do you think comes from the trading
percentage
for your
of
ecosystem? Yeah,
of
like
our
it.
ecosystem.
Yeah, so I know that you have about 6 different revenue streams, maybe more
Yeah.
that I don't even know of. But
Yeah.
of all the revenue streams, what percentage does the trading, do you think, more or less, bring in?
So I got to be honest with you. I think the trading could come in about second, right? A good second below our gold. Our gold, the gold aspect of things will be the biggest booster because what we can do there is just phenomenal. But the trading aspect, we added that to that so that we can have that liquidity. Guys don't have to wait for all this time. We can show them, listen, this is what we are busy building. This is the portfolio. In terms of the percentage, just below our goal, we will be scaling, but we first got to make sure that we've got a system that works, and I believe we do. Right? I believe we do. The profits need to start coming in. We're not pushing them. I'm not pushing them. Bobby, what he chats to them in the background, I know they've got their trading talk that they have regularly. I don't push them because I understand, guys. The main thing is protect our investment, right? Protect the capital. Don't lose the capital investment. Why do I say that? Because we've always got the opportunity to make profits. Don't lose the investment because these accounts, these funds, they cost money, Enrique, right? They're not free and they're not cheap either. So they protect the investment, and that's what I can add on the nature of Forex. Bobby, you can touch on the indices, what we trade, how you handle it in the background. You go for it, my good sir.
Sure, man. Yeah, well, in terms of what we trade, we're not bound to one specific pair that we trade. So TK, myself, and Abdullah normally trade the major forex pairs. So your US dollar, GBP, USD, Euro, JPY, those kind of pairs. I think TK does some Nasdaq, and we have also a futures trader. So those are, I think, the tickers that we normally use for trading. Like Tahir touched, we are using prop firms. So we have multiple accounts with prop firms, regular from two-phase accounts to instant fund accounts or one-phase accounts. I think I think you know a bit about prop firms if you're a trader yourself. So yeah, if there's anything you want to ask about it, feel free.
Yeah.
No, go ahead, Tahir. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry about that. Also, to add on to that, we have different traders with different trading strategies. TK is a swing trader. Abdullah is a scalper. We've got a futures trader, right? And we've onboarded Momo, who's an absolute beast. We've audited his results for the last couple of months. Absolute beast. So I must say, we even in our Forex, in our revenue stream, we diversified. I got to add that we are well diversified.
Okay,
but no
very
pressure.
good.
We're not pushing.
Got it.
And I want to emphasize, we're not putting pressure on them to deliver profits because we're creating a sustainable ecosystem. It's not to feed the hordes. It's to build a long-term ecosystem that will look after.
Okay. Yeah, I did have one follow-up question for Bobby. I recently talked to a project that they post all their trades, every single one, whether it's bot traded or not a bot or margin trade, whatever. All the trades, they post them all live. So the second that they take on the trade, they post it live on their Telegram, on the Discord. Do you guys do something like that, or do you kind of keep everything kind of just between the team?
Well, at the moment, we're not sharing every trade that we do because we have, I think, 5 traders at the moment. So they all trade independently from each other as well. So I think that will be a lot of work daily. But I think I saw some servers that created some Discord bots that could be linked to the API from MT4, and in that way you can share the trades that you have in Discord. But we're working at another solution to share our data from our trading accounts, and that's FX Blue. I'm not sure if you've heard about it.
Oh, yeah.
So I installed the FX Blue trade publisher. So we're going to use that on a VPS to run 24/7. So we can make sure that all the accounts that we have can be tracked in real time by our community. So you can see every trade, the balance, the equity, closing times, opening times, everything.
Yeah, I think that's cool. I think it's cool. It's a cool way to bring your community in. It's another reason for them to come to Discord, talk to you guys, and I just think it creates really good goodwill for everyone. And I think for those that want to become better traders, they get to see what you guys are doing, and that's really cool. It's almost like free training, right? So I think that's really cool.
We're doing that at the moment with our biggest whales. We have close contact with our whales, and they have private funding accounts that they got for holding 100 plus NFTs. So the 100 plus NFTs owners have a 50K instant funding prop firm account on their name. So the trades that are placed on those accounts are also shared with the owners of the accounts, and they can see the progress of the trade. So I'll send a message when we open one. I'll send a message when with an update a few hours later, and I'll let them know what happened to the trade in the end, if it's a stop loss, if it's a TP, or that I took some profits along the way and closed the trade earlier.
That's cool. No, it's a nice touch. I'm sure the got to keep the whales happy, and I'm sure they like that. So
definitely.
Yeah, no, that's very cool.
And we do send signals. TK shares his signals.
Yeah.
Is that what that alpha shares is all about too? I'm kind of all over the place now, but okay, that's something else. We'll cover that later. All right. So Bitcoin mining, real gold mining, altcoin investing, property real estate, bridge financing. Here, let's just try to unpack each one and probably not take too long with each one. But tell us a little bit about where you are with the Bitcoin mining. There's just so much to cover here. I'm trying to make it not a 5-hour interview like the one you did with Alex. It's coming out, I think you said Friday, but we'll do our best.
So even 2 hours is a win.
Yeah. So from the Bitcoin mining side, this is where Alpha Shares come in. Right, they are a Web3 company. Right, they've already created their own marketplace with shared revenue. Shared rewards. Right, with their holders. They've been around the block. They've launched a project, Alpha Shares Mining Co. And they are located in Paraguay. So we actually had options. We had options on the table. Right, where are we going to put our chips down? We had one that was going to be hosted in America with Container Club, mining club. That was going to be 7 cents a kilowatt, right? And we were happy to do so. We knew that we're going to have to cover a certain amount of dollars every month because of the Bitcoin price and the costs, etc. Right? So the risk was a little bit higher there, but we were prepared for it. Make sure that we stack Bitcoin. That was the goal. That is the goal, right?
Yeah.
We had one of our VIP community members as well coming up with options, showing us his setup, but also 7-8 cents a kilowatt. Paraguay, Alpha Shares, trusted in Web3, right? Partnered and also with other big ecosystems that are already creating value for the community coming in. And this came across our table, 3 cents a kilowatt, tied in with antimony refining, right? And listen, it's a refinement center, and that's what gets me excited. So they tie in the Bitcoin rewards with the antimony refining for the private sale. And we took the opportunity. Obviously, we've done our necessary due diligence. We've got a fantastic relationship with the team. They're busy setting up. They've actually just ordered their first container of $800,000 being sent through to Paraguay, right, to get the ball rocking. So we've invested into Alpha Shares Mining Co. strategically, right, for our community. And that is where the Bitcoin mining aspect of things come from. Now, we don't have to worry about a machine. We don't have to worry about repairs. We don't have to worry about boots on the ground, because it's important. All those things are covered, right? When you're going into an operation like that. And again, we were fortunate and blessed enough to come across Alpha Shares, and we've made a strategic partnership and alliance with them, where we will scale with them in our Bitcoin mining sector.
Okay, very good. What about with real gold mining? Where do things stand there?
Yeah, so we've already activated our phase 1, all right? So we've got boots on the ground. It's a gold claim, all right? So we don't actually own the land. You purchase the claim. It's a gold claim. So we've started. Our guys are doing the topography. We've built roads, right, for access because of the weather there recently. So it creates access for the heavy machinery to come in. We've got beacons that have been set up, drones that are being flown through, that are doing the topography, right? I'll probably get an update most closer to the end of the week in terms of where we're at on the timeline. But we started with our phase 1. We've not held back anything. We've got the boots on the ground. We had a fantastic AMA with Alex Yabanks, right? We've actually had Quindo Global come on and give a full update, give a bit of insight about who Quindo Global is, the background, 40 years of experience in the gold mining, coal mining, diamond, cobalt, you name it, right? This is their game. This is what they do. They eat, sleep, natural resources. So we even had, which we won't be doing often, or I don't think again, right? But we had Yakub, who is part of Quindo Global, who is on the ground at the actual gold claim, to chat to Alex prior to us starting the actual AMA, just to make sure, just to give him a bit of, and it's got him excited. It's got him excited because he hasn't had that type of interaction with a guy that is about 70 years old, right? He's been doing this this is his bread and his butter under Quindo Global. He's retired, but he works with one of the major mining firms, one of Quindo Global's partners. So, yeah, in terms of the gold mine, that's where we're at. The next phase would be the core drilling, where we will actually see and how much gold is actually under there to give us a quantitative value of what is in that ground. Then we monetize that. Right? We don't intend to mine, right? However, Quindo does say the option is there because they've got the network and the resources to be able to physically go and mine. I don't want to, okay, personally. I prefer to monetize it and purchase another gold claim and get another lithium claim, because there's a lot of opportunities on the ground currently, right?
This is the time with everything happening just geopolitically and with the macro. This is the time, right? And it's been a bit. I mean, I think the signs have been there for those paying attention for a bit that gold is it's becoming a big commodity now, and I think that moving forward, it makes sense. It makes sense why you guys are doing this, and I think we talked about this before I started recording. I really appreciate the fact in an AMA I saw of yours that you talked about these sort of things. Your ears on the ground. You're very much paying attention to that. So I like the way that your ecosystem is very much based on trying to, like you said, stack sats, whether it's digital gold or real gold. It's a very important thing to do, especially in these times, right? We're in some uncertain times. We don't know how this is all going to play out in the next, 3, 5, 10 years. We don't even know the next year where things will be. So I think things such as gold and Bitcoin are just so important. I cannot stress that enough. So a project that takes all that into effect becomes kind of a big deal, I think. Also, the fact that you guys have all these different things that you're hitting that, because look, there's projects that do Bitcoin mining, there's projects that do real gold mining, right? There's DeFi projects, but you guys are kind of lumping everything together in a way that I don't think I've seen yet. If I have, my bad. Maybe you guys have already, talked to other projects that are doing something similar, but I haven't seen it. Would that be correct, or are there others that are doing all this in one ecosystem?
you know what? There is one other that's doing it in another ecosystem, right? I do believe, and I say this humbly, right? I believe that we will shortly and soon showcase our value that would certainly, and humbly I say this, that will trump currently what they're doing. But there's more than enough space, and the fact that Web3 and DeFi operators have more options to again, what we're doing in our ecosystem, we're spreading the risk, right? Having projects that actually do focus on gold, and they have done physical gold trading successfully, right? And we're going to be doing the same thing, offering our ecosystem and our holders the same thing, right? So the fact that you've got two of these horses running, I believe, obviously, I'm backing our horse, and I know why, right? And they can leverage it, and we've got a lot of their ecosystem, their community in our project because they understand the value, right? And they, there's rewards already being distributed to that side. They've been around, they've been operating for much longer. We're in its infancy with half the amount of NFTs, right? And we've got the, I just know where we headed. I've tried to reach out to to that ecosystem. Unfortunately, there's been no reciprocation because I know the opportunities, and perhaps because they of the younger ilk, right? They don't understand that there's not necessarily competition. There's strategic advantages for two companies coming in that have solid networks in the gold industry. I mean, we've got access to diamonds, we've got access to cobalt, we've got access to. There's a lot of access, right? And we could leverage one another. However, that has not been forthcoming. I don't want to spend too much time on it, right?
Sure.
It's something that I've tried, as well as our community members, our whales, have also tried, right? But we understand that perhaps there's not, they feel a bit. I don't know. I can't comment on how. I know what I would have done in those shoes, right? I would have taken advantage. I would have seized it because I see the leverage opportunities. I see how we can make things work fairly quickly, right? But be that as it may, we are forging our own path. We already have our gold claim activated, right? Meaning we've got boots on the ground. What value will extract there? I'm excited about that. Yes, the Forex is there. The Forex will show yesterday's profits, today's profits, up and down, all right? The gold, I know, that is where the real value of this ecosystem is. Besides the other Bitcoin, digital gold, yes, it's there. Forex, it's there. Altcoins, etc. But me personally, if you had to ask me, which one are you betting on? Which one? Where are you? I'm with the gold all the way, and it's an interesting. So
can't disagree with that. Can't disagree with that. I think that's a good take. But you did hit on something that I did want to talk about before I forget. You touched on the altcoin investing. That's a broad thing to say, right? And I think it's their altcoin investments. What does that mean, man? Does that mean that you guys are also trading altcoins? Are these some long-term holds, short-term? When it becomes like kind of maybe, hey, man, we never know what's obvious, what's not. But when it becomes kind of clear that maybe the next bull run's, kind of hit its limit, do you get rid of those? Like, what does all that look like for you guys? What altcoins are you focused on? Tell me more about that.
So that's where shadow comes in, right? I didn't want to leave the goal quite yet, but right, seeing that you touched on the altcoin, let me carry through on that. We've got shadow as part of our team that takes care of that. We've invested. It's a small part of our investment, all right? Because as you know, when the bull comes, that could, if we're on the right seats, that could take us light years ahead, and we cash out. There's no need to hold. This is to create rewards for our ecosystem. It's not to hold, to be diamond hands.
You can't with altcoins.
We've got $1,000 on IMX. Shadow is looking currently for AI coins for where we can potentially invest into AI in those in those fields. We've got another farming strategy that we're going to be talking about and releasing to the community most probably in the next week, right? But that all falls in the Web3 altcoin investments. It's a small part of our ecosystem, but it can be richly and rewarding, right? At the right time. It's the perfect climate for us now to sit and watch Bitcoin's going on a run, right? We know the conditions around us. It's very iffy. It's very iffy. You don't know which way it's going to go. So we're sitting, we're waiting. We've got $1,000 in IMX, right? Shadow is scouting other options, and we are coming up with the farming method that I can't share with you yet. That is some alpha we'll share directly with our community when Shadow has the proposal ready. But we're going to be utilizing those funds to go into Web3, right? Invest into those altcoins.
Okay. To kind of hit on that just a little bit more, one thing that I've noticed with projects that I feel like a lot of projects are missing the mark here, and they're just I think it's easy money. And the last airdrop really opened my eyes to this, was like the Arbitrum airdrop. I was able to make 10 figures, and I wasn't even trying. Okay, that was just me just messing around with 3 or 4 different wallets in Arbitrum. So one thing that I've been asking a lot of projects is, what are you guys doing? I mean, there's several airdrops coming up probably within the next, I don't know, 1 to 3 months at least. There might be 5 to 7 if you ask some of these other DeFi experts. What are you guys doing to try to get some of that free airdrop money? Like, do you guys have a certain plan or anything? Because I just feel like that's like an easy way for any project to bring more value to its holders.
Enrique, you've got the vision, my friend. That's exactly what we will be doing. I don't want to talk too much about it, right? Shadow's going to take
the farming thing.
The farming thing.
Okay.
Shadows made and of our community members, we've got a Shadows call, right, where he told us about Arbitrum. He's talking to us about ZK Sync, right?
Scroll ZK,
yeah. He's made thousands of dollars. I'm talking about stupid money, right? On the airdrops. We've got guys of community members that followed his call. I faded it. I've been busy. My apologies, Shadow. Right? But they made money. So we are, and that's why Shadow is there, to unlock those opportunities. And you'll notice in our white paper, there's airdrop alpha, right? That's the airdrop alpha mechanism within our ecosystem. Enrique, you eagle-eyed like that.
That's cool. That's cool that we we're thinking the same thing without even knowing it there. So that's good. I did want to touch on a couple more of these. What bridging finance? What is that? What does that mean?
So that's not, to be very honest with you, it's not going to play a big role in our ecosystem going forward, right? But that would be us fronting capital for. So you have within Benita's network, they actually own various mines located globally, right? Then you've got government buyers that will come and purchase coal, they'll purchase whatever mineral that they're purchasing. We would front that money for the transport. So they would allow us to come in and front that money for the transport, get in on the deal and take our profits, right? But there is an operation right now with everything that's going on, right? We know we've got a certain capacity, right? We've got all these good things. We focus on the good things. The smaller money, we don't need to expend too much energy there. So when the opportunity arises, we'll take it, but we're not going to focus on it, Enrique.
Got it. Okay. So we didn't hit on all of them. I mean, there's still incubator, and then the real estate. I don't know if there's anything else that you want to go into more detail that's a big part of what you guys are going to do it that we should cover, or
yeah,
you tell me.
This is a big deal. We are busy with our gold claims, right? We are busy with the property investment that will be starting in phase 2, right? We are, and we will be tying in these NFTs as an actual digital asset, right? We are being audited by a legal firm as we speak, okay? They are also guiding us in terms of having all our boxes ticked for us to convert, to ensure that there's actual real asset, right, tied behind the actual NFT. And that's on a contractual level. That's an ownership level. This is where you can put these digital collectibles in your will type of thing, right? And I think that's a big part of this project that we will be doing, right? And Enrique, you were seasoned, you were an experienced guy, you were a tax practitioner, you were corporate, basically, right?
Hey, electricity's back.
And then there was light. right? um, you know what type of money that can bring when tied in with real assets, right?
Mm-hmm.
With real gold, with our ecosystem functioning the way that it is, what type of money that can bring. And that will allow our early supporters, our community members, our individuals, right, to win. So we're working. I needed to mention that because I think it's a big deal. I think it's a very big deal.
Yeah, so to that point to here, so I think that's where there's been issues in the past with many DeFi projects, is kind of making that connection and making that connection real and making that connection easy for your holders to understand. So for example, with so many projects, let's just say that they have some kind of revenue stream, right? How that's tied into the holder, how they're going to benefit specifically from every I don't know, every $1,000 of that revenue, it's always up in the air. Like no one really has an answer to that. So it sounds to
Because
me like you guys are trying to tie those things together.
because they're not putting in the effort. It's that simple, right? Or they're not talking to the right people, Enrique. Fortunately, our auditors that will be doing ours, they've already done this for another Web3 project, right? They've actually tied in a token with directly into a gold coins, right? Fractionalized gold coins. So they've done this, you know. They've also, another big thing, and how I actually came across them, was that they sold one of for South Africans. I'm sure you know of Nelson Mandela, right?
Of course.
They facilitated the sale. I think it was of his warrant, right, of arrest or some document, right? They made it digital. They made it an NFT, a digital collectible. They put all the legal mumbo jumbo around that, right, to tie it in legally. So the guys that we're dealing with are the right people, firstly, because they've done it before. Okay. And I believe that anybody who says that they can't, they're just being lazy. To be honest, to be very straight with you, there are ways to do it. This is digital, it's blockchain. Eventually, you'll be able to go and purchase a house digitally. You want a digital contract, right? With that token tying in that digital contract. The technology is there. It's about us making it happen. So,
And the
yeah,
fact that you guys aren't based in the U.S. helps, because I think this is going to be a lot harder to do in the U.S., especially with real estate. Forget about it. That's not happening in the U.S. anytime soon. So the fact that you guys are global outside of the U.S., I think, kind of helps with that. Am I right?
yeah, yes, it does. Look, we're not too fussed about, to be very honest with you, right? But this is what led us to this, Enrique, to explore these options, was for our US and EU holders, that they can have a contract. They're purchasing something that is contractually theirs. They're not investing into a security. It's a product. It's something that they're buying. It's a share of. Boom. Contractually, legally, it's theirs. Right. So it's very much different. I'm not the legal expert. Right. We've got the right guys, but we've been guided by them. They're based in South Africa. They partnered with a law firm in the US and in the EU. They are doing a full audit on us. So that full audit report will also come out. Everybody will see who we're dealing with and who's done the audit.
Yeah, it's one of the first things I saw when I joined your Discord was the announcement about the audit. So I think it was your last announcement or previous. Okay, got it. All right, so talking about tying this into all the NFTs, that's where I definitely wanted to ask you guys very specific questions. I'm going to screen share again and actually show these NFTs. There's a lot of utility to it, which I think those watching right now are very curious about that piece versus, hey, how beautiful is it, or all that stuff. The utility piece is just, beyond important. And there are so many different NFTs that you guys have, and they all kind of play into each other. So how can we cover that in a way that to someone that's seeing everything for the first time, seeing your ecosystem for the first time, they'll be able to understand it?
Okay. So think of this ecosystem only as 5,000 NFTs, right? They're broken up into different phases so that we can achieve different objectives, milestones to reach those milestones. So we raise those funds, we hit the milestones. Next phase, we do the same thing, we hit those milestones. So we create every phase that we're going through, we're creating value and we're showing the value, right? That is our ecosystem in 5,000 NFTs. The 3D mangas, the 3D serials. That's when we're going to be having fun. That's when we're going to be
Okay.
gamifying everything to add extra value into our ecosystem, not extract extra value from our holders, right? But to add. And that there, we're not rushing, we're not pushing, right? Because we're first taking care of number one, numero uno, the Alchemist ecosystem with the 5,000 NFTs, right? And it's a digital token. You'll notice there, I call it per token, right? We call it per token. The rest of it will just add value. You sit tight, you don't worry about it. The Alchemists NFT ecosystem is 5,000 NFTs. Plus, we've got our VIPs. I must mention our VIPs. I think they'll be very upset if I didn't. We also sold out. So we've sold out our VIPs, 310 NFTs, and we've sold out our phase one, 1,000 NFTs. Obviously, guys that can go through our white paper, the VIPs do play a special role in our ecosystem, right? They are part of our early supporters. They were a major part of us being able to sell out our phase one. And, you know, we thank them for it. We've given them a special position in terms of the revenue streams that they will benefit from. And I'm excited to tie and to make this all very real and tangible for people that listen. This thing will work for you, right? And it's a digital asset tied in with ownership. I'm excited about that because I understand the type of money that will come into this ecosystem and not only benefit us, benefit our holders. Because at the end of the day, I'm buying my own NFTs, right? We stacking our, because that we know that's where the value is going to be.
That is good to hear, and yes, it's always good to hear when the founders actually investing in their own project instead of just taking the rewards for themselves. So no, that's good to hear. Speaking of though, how do you guys make money? I understand there's a product development wallet. Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah. So from the project development, we'll see from there what we decide to take for the team entirely, right? But we're going to be using the project development for marketing, for building of the apps. But our app is already being built for maintenance, for fees, for all of
Is that
those
how
things.
you're paying for the
Project
legal
development.
fees? Because I'm sure those legal fees aren't
Yeah.
cheap. Okay.
Yeah, no, they're not cheap. The legal fees are coming from there. Mate, if I must be very honest with you, right? Us as founders, as actual co-founders, we haven't taken much. I think we've got about there's about 60,000 US dollars left, right? That's all from phase one. That's all still being used for marketing. That's all still being used for our prop firm farming mechanism, right? And also, just in case, what if we need to make sure that we've got X, Y, and Z covered, right? So we know the value is not in taking profits out. The value is investing into the structures that we're putting in place, because this is where the revenue comes in, because we're building something sustainable. So there's no rush to want to take out, because it would be futile to our objective. And we understand that. And I got to say, my partners are fantastic in understanding that.
No, that's very good, man. So I did bring it up in the intro that I already did, but I really did appreciate the fact that you guys started this back in 2021. So this has been a long time coming, and it's something that you put a lot of time and effort into it. Having said that, I was curious, when you first started the project back almost 2 years ago, was it based around all of the different initiatives that you have today, or has it evolved and changed based on X amount of reasons?
Yeah, it's evolved and changed. The gold was always there, right? The gold was always part of the ecosystem.
Okay.
But as I've mentioned to you earlier, I came from the NFT side, right? Where the structures were very, very different. So we tried to create a storyline, a narrative, and all of these things with these characters, right? But we quickly realized that, listen here, it's either that there's no appetite for this in the NFT space, right? Or they don't have gray matter, right? Which one is it? And we then quickly, and that's when we realized we needed to get into the DeFi space. And this is when we started saying, okay, listen, let's unpack everything. Let's show the value. Let's show how we're going to create this value that we're talking about in a bit of detail, right? So people can understand. So this project has evolved. it's evolved. But our Discord's been there. We've got people that's been in our Discord from day one, right? And they've seen this development, they've seen the change, and they're there. They are holders, they are supporters, and yeah, they understand the value, Enrique.
Okay, and I was going to ask something I just forgot while you're in mid-sentence. It was important. Hopefully it will come back to me. But it was, oh yeah, so if someone wants to mint today, you just wrap some Ethereum, use some wrapped Ethereum.
No, they can't mint today, so they need to get onto our whitelist.
Okay.
Right, our phase 1 is done. Our founding fathers of alchemy is sold out.
Okay.
We will be releasing our phase 2 in most probably the end of April, first week of May. Our holders, our existing community is asking for us for the first week of May.
End of April,
right?
first week of May.
Yeah, end of April, first week of May.
Okay.
It's going to be in stablecoin. No WETH, no ETH, all stablecoin on the Ethereum network. Right, we've got budgets. ETH fluctuates too much. We can't be dealing with within ETH. Luckily, only a small portion of those sales happened in WETH. But still, ETH has been treating us well, nonetheless.
I'm sure.
So yeah, it will be in stablecoin. On the Ethereum network, rewards will be paid out on an L2 in Matic. So all our rewards will be paid out in Matic because of the gas fees. We don't want guys claiming, right, and they're paying $10, $15, $20, $30 for claims, right, when the market. So that's also something that we've thought about.
Okay, that was my next question. So okay, we got rid of that question.
We didn't touch on
what's that?
We didn't touch on property.
Oh yeah, please.
You know, you were going to the revenue stream. So we just had an AMA with the property development team that will be providing the property development opportunity. They're raising $2.1 million in total. Again, they've managed to secure partnerships with also other value-driven and ecosystems that are giving back to the communities and are actually building something tangible. So it's 2.1 million for 3 properties: Thailand, Costa Rica, and Texas. They've got the necessary experience. They're fully doxed. They came. They introduced the entire team. We showcased it to our community. Right? They absolutely love it. The benefits that are there, that are attached to it for our community. We're going in. We did not intend to go into a property development into phase 2 so early on. We were going to utilize the funds that we generate from the gold mine, monetizing the gold opportunity, right, and then project out into the property development because you need some liquid capital for that. But they've allowed us to come in to put down $50,000 as a seed investor, right, and later on being able to scale as they go. They do have a grand plan. We back the team. We've checked them out. I know them for quite a while. So do our other Web3 our holders in our community. They know who these guys are. They've got a history of delivering, of creating value, right? So we're getting in there, and I'm excited about that because it also showcased that, listen, the Alchemists, they're not just talking, right? We're making these strategic partnerships, and we're putting the money down where it needs to be to create value. Enrique.
You're blowing me away. I had no idea that that you could get to that point from a legal perspective, regulatory perspective with a property in the U.S. And I heard you say Texas. I'm actually really surprised. I can't wait to see how this plays out.
Business to business, Enrique. Business
to business. That's why. Okay.
Business to business. How we shuffle the cards on this side.
Still did not know.
Yeah, we'll take care of that. Yeah, but it's a business to business deal. So they're not raising capital from individual investors. You with me?
I get that.
It's community. It's community funds, but through a business. So it's a very different approach and quite clever of them.
Wow. I don't know how to respond to that. I'm just very surprised. Very cool. Can you say where in Texas?
I've got no idea where in Texas.
Okay.
One of the founders is actually living. Those founders are living in Texas. They own various properties in China as well. They've got property in Australia. They know the game. You know, they know the game. They're in real estate. So yeah, I don't know where in Texas, but listen, those guys are fully doxed. They're very open, and the fact that you can just reach out. They've gone and spent. They've had what's the word that I'm looking for? Team building sessions with their communities that they've done, right? Where people from the United States can meet them, with them. So it's a comforting level, an opportunity that we've got, that we're not just throwing it down a black hole. We'll obviously be looking at the recourse available. We'll own the actual assets if we need to liquidate. Worst case scenario, you got to think of the prenup at the end of the day, as well as the best case scenarios.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm excited for that, because we're getting in early. Something we didn't plan for, but the opportunity presented itself. We're going to give our holders exposure to it, and we'll see.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, that's what's great about these AMAs. Sorry, I was glossing over the real estate piece, and here you are dropping bombs. I had no idea. And in the past, I don't know if you heard of a project named like Code 7 that was supposed to like link the blockchain with real estate, and it was a disaster. So so this is very cool to hear. I can't wait to see how this turns out, and get more updates from you in the next months to come, in the few months to come, quarters to come. It'll be very interesting. Yeah. Very, very cool. Is there any other big piece that I glossed over that you want to cover here?
I think we've Bobby. I think we've touched on everything. I think there's one. The prop firm farming. If you can touch on that for us, Bobby, and who we partner with. Yeah.
I can give a brief touch on it. I have to be a bit careful because I signed an NDA, but it's basically a strategy developed to maximize the profits you can take from prop firm accounts, and minimize the time you spend, and minimize the costs per account. So it's there's a firm in Holland. It's an Forex education / capital management firm, and they worked with mathematicians to develop this strategy. It's not actually a strategy that's really for sale, but because I have personal connections with the founders of the company, they were willing to let us have a peek in this strategy that they developed, so we are allowed to use it. And basically, what it does is we buy a bunch of prop firm accounts, and we trade them all in a certain type of way to maximize all the profits that you can take out. And in the process of the strategy, in the end, you will lose all the accounts, but you will eventually end up with a really big portion of profits.
So thanks,
very
Bobby.
Interesting. Yeah. Thanks for adding that as well.
And it's not for sale. The key thing is, I ask myself the same thing. If I'm sitting, so why would somebody want to sell you that if they're making
exactly?
Right? It's purely based on the relationship. Bobby, I've got to take my hat off to Bobby for that. He's known them for a good couple of years. He's been in their offices, and they understand what we're building here, right? And they've afforded us the opportunity, because of the relationship they hold with Bobby, to let us in. They've shown us the profits that they've been making over the months, and we are going to be exposed to that.
So strategy. Bobby, you used to work for them?
Well, they're actually I actually learned how to trade Forex with them. So as I also mentioned, they are also an education firm where they educate people to trade Forex.
Okay.
So I met the founder of the company about 2.5 years ago. Had a chat with him, and he said that he was going to start a company that was going to educate people how to trade Forex, and to build up to a capital management firm. And that's actually how I ended up there. And so they teach me their skills, and
so you paid to be a student of theirs, correct?
Yeah,
got it.
Yeah, I'm a former student. Well,
You're
actually,
a former student.
still am, because I'm still in the community there.
Hey, if you're trading, you're always a student, right? You can be 70 years old, you're still learning. That's I figured that one out. Okay, so interesting. So I understand there's the NDA, so I guess I'm kind of tied with my questions. Maybe you can answer this question though, but why are they doing this? Like, is there a value prop associated to this? Is it because you guys are like a almost like maybe like a beta test where they kind of want to see this play out in real time with a different type of firm or outlet. Like, can you share a little bit about that?
Well, actually, I approached them with the question because they were into the Forex world, and the Alchemists as a project were also exposed to Forex. So I approached them with the question if there was any type of partnership that we could develop together.
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually when he mentioned to me that they were developing a strategy that was based on prop firms.
Mm-hmm.
And that was after I explained that we were mostly trading with prop firm accounts, so that the link was set there. So and we had some conversations about it. We had a meeting with Tahir also together, and came to the conclusion that this was something that could really help us get to the next level for the Alchemists. So we, in the end, they were willing to share this strategy with us.
Okay, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, we're blessed, Enrique. We're blessed to be able to be exposed to that because it's not something that anybody would do, and I realize that. We
Yeah,
realize.
it's non-standard for sure. So,
Yeah, we
yeah.
realize that, and yeah, and I got to take my hats off to Bobby. I can talk, I can make the deals, I can do what I want. There's no relationship to share something
Mm-hmm.
like that. It's another level, and I recognize that. I recognize that.
Okay. Interesting. I just have so many questions, but I guess you can only answer so much. Many years ago, I was a what we called I was like a gas trader, energy trader for a publicly traded firm out of Houston, and we used a set of principles and standards, and it was almost like a program to trade. So it was funny because my title was trader, but I just did what the program basically would tell me to do, right? Because
It's like following a guide in a cooking book.
pretty much. I don't even know if I had that much flexibility, honestly.
Well, to be
Uh,
honest, if you want to be a consistent trader, that is the only way to do it.
that's a fair point. That's a fair point. So I'm just kind of curious to see what you're telling me. It sounds a lot like that, right? Where it's almost like that. So am I making a good connection there, or is this different?
Well, actually, it's the strategy is more based around how you manage the accounts, how you manage the risk, and the payout. So it's like an addition to your own skills as a trader, because you still have to find your own trades. Only I was used to having high risk to reward trades. That's how I
Mm-hmm.
learned how to trade there at Forex Library.
Mm-hmm.
So normally I was aiming for like around the 1 to 7, 1 to 15 risk to rewards. So that's really very
That's high.
low.
That's
Yeah,
high though.
it's a very low winning rate, but if you do it consistently, you'll end up in profits at the end of the month. But
Hmm.
this strategy is based on a little lower risk to reward ratio. So normally I'm trying to go for 1 to 2, 1 to 3.
Mm-hmm.
So that's still what I have to do myself from my own skills that I learned on how to analyze the market and set my trades. But the strategy that they
So
provided us
are these
with,
more like scalps? Are these more like day trades or swing trades or?
yeah, it's based on day trading. So normally I'm not longer in a position than maybe 2 or 3 hours.
Okay.
Bobby,
Um, it's
Bobby,
based on supply demand zones. Yeah.
tell Enrique how much you made. Obviously, this is a phased account because the prop farming strategy allows us to use the phased accounts, right? Tell him how much you made today, just on the phased on the. It's not tell him.
Well, because he's a trader, I'll tell him in percentages because that's the only thing he cares about. Because
Mm-hmm.
like dollar money, dollar values is
Yeah,
can be anything. But it
It's
took
all
me
relative.
1.5 hours, 7.5% in profit.
And I'm guessing it's a decent amount. So yeah,
Well, it
right.
was
You have
only
that.
half. It was only half my trade. The aim was to have the phase one done in one trade. But yeah, I noticed because of the news event this afternoon. I think it was the CPI or CIP.
CPI. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, CPI. The price was starting to move against me, so I exited the trade at a fair point and took half of the trade home.
Nice.
That,
Damn.
that yeah,
That's not bad.
that's not bad. And
It's not bad.
we're not rushing. We're not pushing. When the trade presents itself, when the profits come in, they come, right? And our ecosystem stands to benefit from all of this efforts that everybody's putting in Enrique.
I like it. I want to hear more about it, but very cool. I hope we can keep in touch, and I want to hear more about this, and especially as you are allowed to. Sounds
Sure, man.
very, very interesting, and I know my viewers will want to hear about this, not just me. Very good stuff. All right, guys. Anything else that you wanted to cover? I think the only other things that I just wanted to throw out there, I think your scholarship program is very, very cool. What you're doing with planting trees, again, very, very cool. Anything that you can do to help out all of the different ecosystems with our world is a good thing. So I really like the planting trees thing. I am a bit frustrated with what's happening as far as like, BTC getting a bad name when it comes to like whether it's ESG or just, the environment, energy, all that stuff. So anything that we can do to kind of put the conversation to bed a little more is a good thing, or anything we could do that's positive. Don't even get me started on the fact that I think a lot of that's just political nonsense. But
It's
no, I
noise.
think it's really cool that you're doing that. What's that?
It's noise, Enrique. It's
It
noise.
is noise. Yeah.
They feel threatened by the digital currency of Bitcoin. So
I would be too if I was trying to roll out CBDCs, but right.
exactly. So they got to find a way, and it's amazing they labeled Bitcoin as a commodity rather than as a security. And XRP it's a big deal. The lawsuit against Ripple, I believe it's a big deal. Will set precedent for the other cryptocurrencies. And Mr. Gensler, all right, with these meme glasses. He's watching it closely. I mean, I follow him. He makes a lot of noise on Twitter, saying bullish about this, that, X, Y, and Z. I believe that's a front. I hope that the judge presiding over the Ripple case, is objective. And I got a feeling the judge is, and it's a big deal for the American crypto space as a whole. I've got a bag in XRP because I'm backing it. I want it to win, right? I know what that means for the Americans and globally. So we're with you guys. I know you guys feel alone, isolated, and shit. We're with you guys. We want freedom to transact, mate. Freedom to transact. Number one.
Yeah. If it's you said it all. And if they control the money, then they control everything. So it's a bit concerning for sure. Bobby, anything else that you wanted to cover in today's call?
I don't think so. I think we covered it all.
I think so too. Tahir, anything else?
Yeah, I'm just plugging my laptop into a outlet. I think we're good to go, sir. I think we're great. I think we've done a good job in covering what we needed to. Oh, gold trading. One more. I'm sorry. We're going to be offering. We're going to be offering physical gold trading options, all right, to our holders. We will be trading in and around 25 kilograms of gold monthly, and looking to return the rewards via that function and opportunity that we will make available. And that's one of many gold opportunities, but that's one to start with, right? Where we can provide the retail investor the opportunity to get in actual physical gold trading. So that's a big deal. That's a big thing for me.
Yeah. That can't believe we went by that one as well. Yeah, I mean, it just goes to show there's a lot with you guys. There's a lot with this ecosystem. There's a lot with your different revenue streams, and I'm just really, really curious to see how things plan out over the next 6 to 12 months with you guys, especially in regards to I know you can't talk about it, but this what you signed the NDA for, and again with the real estate piece as well. You kind of threw some surprises on my way in regards to that as well. So I'm very, very curious to see how this all pans out. Very exciting stuff. You guys have built something very, very cool. You've been building it for almost 2 years, guys, I will have all the links below the video: Discord, Twitter, all of it. Go to Discord, talk to these guys. I'm sure you'll have more questions watching this. And hope to keep in touch with you guys, hear more about all this, because you guys are doing some things I haven't seen done yet. And it's pretty exciting stuff. Really, really cool.
Yeah. Thank you, Enrique. We appreciate that. And the guys can come in, ask us anything. We don't say there's no question that is too tough to ask. Come in. We're also open to suggestions. We're not Mr. Know-it-alls, right? We're open to suggestions. We like critical thinking, and we like constructive feedback, constructive criticism, right? We welcome that with open arms. Whatever we can improve, right? If you see ways, add value. Come join our community. Get onto our whitelist firstly. Like I've told you, we're going to be driving value to our holders, right? And if you need to zoom out and listen into this AMA again, there are key areas that I've stressed on specifically, that what we intend to do, how we're going to make this an actual digital asset, right? That's the plan. Come with us on this.
And just to add to that, so once if you're on their Discord for the first time, do the steps, takes a second, and then just look for how to WL, and you'll see the instructions for the whitelist. It's all right there, pretty simple. You guys made it super easy. And then just go to the general chat and get in there. You guys have a pretty active Discord. It reminds me of Discord for most DeFi projects back before the bear market started destroying everyone. Like your Discord is actually pretty active. You don't see that with all the projects these days. So I think that's a good sign as well. That yes, it's an active Discord.
Yeah, I don't want to jinx it, right? But I enjoy it because we got this interesting conversations. We love the gifts, right? We've got some meme channels. We're building a community, right? Besides an investor reward system that we are setting up, right? We're building a community because we understand the value, right, of a community moving forward in Web3. We're not just planning to build these ecosystems and get rewards perpetually and set up all these cool structures. We're looking to go in IRL meetings. We're looking to set up thought think tanks, right? Decentralization is, and there's a lot we can't say on a public platform that I've got a bit in my mouth like one of my horses, but it's an important part of Web3 and the opportunity that Web3 gives us, and you can't do that without a community behind you.
No, you can't. You can't. Well, I think that's a perfect way to end things. So yeah, very cool stuff. I hope to have you guys on again. Hope to keep in touch with both of you guys. It was an absolute pleasure getting to meet you guys. And like I said, Bobby, I hadn't really heard from you that much as far as when I saw AMAs, but to hear I had noticed a couple times that you said things that kind of told me, okay, this guy gets it outside of just trying to build some kind of DeFi project. This guy's looking at all different phases, geopolitical, macro, all of it, and I could tell. And again, I really like the fact that you were talking about CBDCs before anyone else was, and trying to warn people about it. So I think that says a lot about you guys. So again, thanks again. Hope to see you again soon. And guys, check them out, and I'll have all the links below. Take care, everyone.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Cheers, guys.